Hey, welcome to Keight Krafts. I'm Keight. Today I would like to share with you what I made for my stop on the old and new A Fab 5 Hop and Giveaway. Let's get started. Kick off my video, I'm going to start with the Woodgrain background hot foil plate by Lawn Fawn. And I will be using the foil color pewter. So what I'm doing here is I'm just taking my little ruler and I am carefully cutting off a piece, and I will use this piece to hot foil with. Now I'm being rather careful with how I handle the foil because I don't want to crinkle it, because I want a solid foil. Now this stuff crinkles easily, so you might want to be a little bit careful if you've never hot foiled before. So here I'm taking the paper that I will be foiling on, and I'm going to have the pink cardstock, which is my shim with another shim and the top plate, and I will let that sit and heat up. Once that's heated up, I will pull it off the base, run it through my die press, and then return it to the base, and boom. How pretty is that? So now that we've let everything cool off and put away, I am going to be also using the Build-A-Cabin, and I will be using the Lift a Flap tree backdrop. Now, I've got only one piece of this colored cardstock, so I'm trying to use it wisely. And what I've done here is I've cut out the house, or the cabin, but I've also left enough room so that way I can cut out the Lift a Flap tree background. And the reason why I did it this way is because I just want the one tree, and I want to leave some space for my cabin. So I'm going to take my ruler here, and I will take my little craft knife, and I will cut off the excess very carefully. Now I want to leave the border around this because this is going to be my guide to line everything up that I need to line up. So once I've done that on one side, I am going to carefully cut the little branch right there, and then I will take the ruler and I will cut on the other side as well. So that way I've got like a little, I guess kind of like a window that you could see through. But that's not really going to be a window, if you know what I mean. I mean, you could turn it into a shaker card at this point, but we're not going to do shaker today. So next up, I have some Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of ink blending with the Lawn Fawn Cloudy Stencil and some fish tank ink. And while I'm blending, I should probably take a moment to tell you what this hop is all about. Each of us participating at this hop will be sharing creative ideas using old and new Lawn Fawn products. We hope that you find some inspiration with each video as you hop along with us. To enter the giveaway, please leave a comment at each of the stops in our hop by February 5th, 2023 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not sure what to comment with? A simple hi will do. One comment at each of our stop will count as one entry to win a $25 gift certificate from Lawn Fawn, who is sponsoring our video today. The winner will be announced February 8th, 2023, and you will have 1 week to claim your prize. So with that being said, let's get back to my card. So all I've done here is I've taken some Distress ink in Vintage Photo, and I'm just giving that a little bit of darkness. Now, I'm going to be doing the same thing for the cabin, but I'm going to be masking off the door. Now here I've got a little bit of the walnut stain, and I'm kind of going a little heavy-handed on that color for the door because I want it a little bit darker than the actual brown it is. So once that's done, I'll set all that aside, and then I'm just going to tap on some more color and blend it into these extra little pieces that are going to be details for the cabin. And I didn't want them to be the same color as the house. I wanted to give it a little bit more texture, so that's why we are using the walnut stain, because it'd be a little boring if it was all just one color. And I really had no rhyme or reason for, which was going to be which. It was just kind of like whatever felt right, so that's what I'm doing. And because I like the color of this vellum, I thought I would add a little YO2 Copic marker to it. And then I realized as I was putting this to the backside of the cabin that my sky was going to kind of seep through, and I really didn't want to do that. But I also committed to using this piece of vellum, and this is the pearlescent vellum, if I hadn't mentioned it, but it is very pretty, and I like how it picked up the color of the yellow and gave it a little bit of a different shimmer to it. So I'm still going to commit to gluing the colored vellum on the back side of my cabin, where the windows and door would be, and the door's not going to open for this one, so I'm not too worried if I get a little bit of overlapping with where the door opens. And because this is see-through, I'm going to end up using a piece of white colored cardstock at the back of this vellum, so that way the color pops a little bit better, and then that way you don't see the blue clouds seeping through. So here I am just snipping off some pieces, and we will glue that to the back. Next, I'm going to take that same scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to trace the inside of the lift-a-flap on the tree to give myself the guidelines of where I need to cut. So once I'm done cutting that out, we're going to take this and we are going to add a little bit of color. So what I'll do here is I will take one of the post-it notes that I have here with the windows, and I'm just going to take what's left on my blender brush of that walnut stain and just go over that scrap piece of paper, and then we'll glue it together. So once I've let that set off to the side to dry, I am going to take the little details like the door frame and the window frames, and I'm going to add some glue, and we are going to add those to the log cabin here. See how that gives it a little bit of an extra, I don't know, a little bit of extra depth, so it's not all the same color, which I really like this Build-A-Cabin. I think it's rather cute, and you could do so many different things with this. So I'm kind of interested to see what else they bring out in the hot foil with their next release. I'm chomping at the bit because I love this Woodgrain hot foil, and I think it looks so nice on the dies and stuff like that. So I didn't use the hot foil plate for the little detail. I kind of wanted to give it a little bit of a contrast, so that's why those are plain. So once I'm letting that set off to dry, I'm going to build my scene. So what I'm doing here is just kind of giving myself an eyeball of where I need to glue, but then I think, well, you know, I could be smart and just glue over here. So I'm taking my pencil and creating like little guidelines and where I'm just going to put a bunch of this Lawn Fawn glue in the little mini squidgy bottle. So once I'm happy with how much I've got on there, I'm going to line up my first snowbank. Now these snowbanks were cut out with the Hillside stitched border dies, and I've kind of offset them, staggered them, so that way you get a little bit of depth while you're looking at the snowbank. So the first one's going to go behind, and then the second one's going to go on top right in front of that frame. Now, not to worry, that frame is going to get covered up later on, but not just yet. So I'm just going to trace a line on where I need to be putting some glue on my frame here, and I'm going to add some more of that Lawn Fawn glue to the front. Now, I wasn't 100% sure of where I needed to go with the glue on the snowbank, and I didn't want to get it all over the place, so I just kind of eyeballed it out a little bit, and then I'll just trim off the excess that I didn't quite get. Now to add the house. So I was thinking I could have put the house in between the snowbanks, but then I kind of didn't want it to be right at the front, so I thought I'd put it in the background. I thought it was fair enough to put it back there. So where I've traced, I'm just going to add some glue just to have it stick to the front of the house. That way everything's kind of stuck down nice. And I mean, you could skip this step, but I found that it helped me line everything up and where it needed to be. So next, I've gone ahead and stuck down some double-sided tape. You don't have to do this, but I wanted to make sure that everything was stuck down good and stuck down right away. And sometimes I like to double glue things with tape runner and glue. So the tape runner acts as a quick stick and it'll stay down, and the glue just kind of helps secure everything over the long term, I guess. So once I've got enough glue on that, I'm going to line everything up on my cloud panel, and I'm going to mash all of that down. And then I'll trim off the little excess. So once I'm done trimming that off, I will take the frame, which I've cut out of this pink cardstock. Now, the pink cardstock and the white cardstock are all, and the brown one, I should say, are all Recollections brand. They don't have any specific names to them, so I can't really give you a name, but I just call them pink and brown. So those are my technical terms. And next I'm just going to add a little bit of glue around the frame itself after I've done the tape runner, or the score tape I should say. So that way I get a good adhesion between the two. And now I'm just lining everything up so you get this cute little pink frame around our little snow scene. Off camera, I went ahead and colored the fox and the rabbit from Happy Hugs. And now all I'm doing is I'm taking the little nameplate and the heart and coloring them in. Now this little nameplate hangy thingy, I'm not sure what you call it, I'm just taking some warm gray markers just to kind of give it a little bit of a wood grain effect. Kind of like it's withered and old. And I've gone ahead and repositioned them into their little die cuts that I cut them out. And then I ended up taking the stamps that I used for them and stamping them because it was a lot easier and I could see better because they were solid dies instead of see-through dies, so I couldn't exactly see what I was doing. And that's why I did it that way. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to glue that heart back in, and then I'm going to take the little hanging sign and I'm just going to put it above the door. Now I could have gone ahead and put the light on above the door or above the windows. I mean, really, there's a lot of different variations that you could do of this cabin that would all be really, really cute. And I'm so pleased that they came out with this little Build-A-Cabin. I think it's one of my favorites, even though I don't have much experiences with the Build-A-Line series that they have. So once I've done that and that's set off to side, I'm going to fill the backside of my critters with some foam tape because I want to have them popping off a little bit off of the card here, just because that's a flat card, but I thought I would give it a little bit of dimension. This is kind of a lovey card, but not overly gushy because I'm not an overly gushy kind of gal, and I was just trying to keep it sweet. So, you could give this card to a boyfriend or, your galentine or just somebody you happen to love, and it doesn't even have to be Valentine's. It's just somebody you might miss. But I don't know, I thought this was a really cute way to share with somebody, how much you miss them or how much you love them, and all that fun, gushy stuff. So all I'm doing here is I am taking the Lawn Fawn glitter glue, and I am just going around the edges of the snow to give it a little bit more texture. Off camera, I have used the Extra Sentiment banner die and the little extra freebie I got in a Lawn Fawn package that says Hug Enclosed. And here you have my finished card. Don't forget to leave your comment down below for a chance to win the $25 gift card to the Lawn Fawn store. And if you have some extra time, be sure to check out some of the other videos in our Fab 5 Hop, sponsored by Lawn Fawn. And as always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care, and good luck.